Hello and welcome to today's Rising Match Day, this Saturday the 29th of May. I'm Owain Evans, here to preview today's game against Sacramento Republic. Coming up on the show. Off to Tokyo, with the Gold Cup not far away either, Kev Lambert tugs international duty with the Reggae Boys. There's been a flood of support for Rising's new left back, but as he's named to his first team of the week, how does he feel he's adapted to his new position? And another big match on the road for Phoenix this evening, but what should we expect to see out of Republic? As ever, lots to get through this morning as we look ahead to tonight's game, but let's start off by looking back to last week as Rising brushed aside Las Vegas Lights. A different kind of challenge for Rising in that game, coming up against an MLS club's reserves for the first time this season. And it was a dream start for the hosts. Rufat Dadashov there with a turn in the finish. That was the first goal of the season for the Azerbaijani striker, who had 11 in 18 games last year. Later that half though, not the best showing from John Baquero as he's dispossessed, and Cal Jennings scores Lights' first goal from open play this season. Looking back at it, perhaps Baquero's a little lucky there that he didn't pull down Jennings, otherwise he might have been given his marching orders. Rising responded though. They conceded from a corner the week before in St. Petersburg, but this time it's Joey Farrell getting up there, getting his head on it and burying it to give Rising the lead at the break. Second half, and it's another corner, this time whipped in by Quinn. Lights can't clear their lines, and Santi Moa taking on the volley. That's his fourth goal in 4 games. It's certainly an ambitious effort, and you have to wonder if he'd have taken it on if he wasn't in the form that he's in. Not long after, and it's another goal to add to the tally. Dadashov again gets the ball fairly quickly from a throw-in. There's the turn in traffic, something we hadn't necessarily seen too much this season prior to last week. Just the one more for Rising in the end. Flood clipped as he enters the penalty area. Michael Radchuk showing no hesitation as he points to the spot. Julian Gaines the guilty party, just clipping Flood's foot as you see there. The captain steps up to take the penalty, and there was no doubt in the end, Solomon Asante making it 5-1 for Rising. It would stay that way until the final whistle. Here's the post-game reaction.
Well, when we play with confidence, it's a pretty special group of players. I think we started really well. That was the idea, was to get after them fast, and then I think we made some really silly mistakes and lost our confidence in the first half a little bit. But, I talked to them in the second half about how to, we had to be more intelligent. I think Kevon and Aiden and John were picking up the ball in the wrong spaces against them. And I think after that we did a much better job.
You can't really complain when you score a goal in the first 2 minutes. So we came out blazing. I think we got a little bit relaxed, but I think like you saw, like afterward, we're a team that once you try and throw a punch at us, we're just going to come back and hit you even harder. So first half I thought was really good. We able to get that second goal, great for Philly off that set piece. And it's always good going into halftime with the lead.
I think what the key in the second half, what made it easier for us, was that we kept the ball a lot better. We cut out the sloppy turnovers, and we forced them to defend deep in their half. And then from there, we were able to offensive defend and keep them pinned in their own half a lot, and just recirculate the ball, get corners, get shots, get crosses, and that's what we wanted to do the whole game. Thankfully, the second half is kind of what we were looking for 90 minutes. Hopefully, next match we bring it for 90.
Credit to Vegas and LAFC that they play a very attacking style of football, and we wanted to press them and try to make it difficult for them. And I think our guys are much older and stronger and more powerful, so we were causing some turnovers in midfield that were leading to quick transitional moments. I thought in transition we were great. In possession in the second half we were fantastic, much better than the first. And defensively, we still, we put a lot of pressure on our defenders to handle difficult moments, and I think they do the same, and we just capitalized.
So a storming victory for Rising in the end, 41 shots, 19 on target, both of those USL Championship records. Take nothing away from Alex Rando in the Las Vegas goal. Yes, he conceded 5, but he also made 14 saves, some of which in the second half were very impressive. Rufat Dadashov finally found his scoring form, earning him the Man of the Match crown. And remember, if you want to vote in that for tonight's game, keep an eye out on Twitter for the player ratings form. Now let's move on to take a look around the rest of the Pacific Division. We'll start at Lynn Family Stadium, where San Diego Loyal travel to face Louisville. Both sides even for much of the first half, before Jack Blake was adjudged to have brought down Nat Masoso in the penalty area in stoppage time. Cameron Lancaster stepped up to take the spot kick, but despite Muse getting to the shot, he couldn't prevent the rebound from going in. Late in the game, in something of a goalmouth scramble, Carl Gregg doubles the host's advantage, even if he likely didn't know much about that bounce. After the match, Landon Donovan highlighted what he believed were officiating errors on both goals conceded, but during the game he was dismissed by Izmir Pekmic for leaving his technical area. That's earned him a suspension for tonight's game against Lights. Jack Blake put up a genuine goal of the week contender for Loyal in the 91st minute, but it was too little, too late, as San Diego continue their run of 4 losses to start the new year. Also on Saturday, Sacramento Republic travelled to face an injury-ridden Orange County side in the latter's home opener. With Seth Kasipli and Adam Jan out for the rest of the year, the hosts were keen to show they could still compete, and Chris Weehan's first half strike secured them the spoils, 1-0 on the night. Finally, something of a classic down at Dignity Health Sports Park. LA Galaxy 2 up against Oakland Roots. The host struck first, Oggy Williams' strike saved, but turned in on the rebound by Axel Picasso. Less than a minute after the break, the scores were level, Danny Flores finding himself on the end of a cross to score Oakland's first ever goal at USL level. Galaxy retook their lead, however. Preston Judd, cutting in from the outside, looked to play the ball across the face of goal, but Ariel Mbumba's slide caught just enough of it to turn it in. 2-1 the score. Once again, Oakland responded. Substitute Memo Diaz this time, capitalising on a spilled save to bring his side level. If you thought it had ended a draw, you'd have been mistaken. In the 91st minute, super sub Jeremy Bakila from a tough angle put Oakland up 3-2. That's their first victory as a club in the USL Championship. So looking at the table, it's rising up top with 9 points off of 4 games, LA Galaxy 2 remaining just behind, although they have played an additional 2 matches. Tacoma had the week off, so their unbeaten start remains intact. Sacramento still in 4th despite their loss to Orange County. The latter got their first points of the season, as did Oakland last week, with San Diego and Las Vegas both propping up the table without any points. Of course, it's a little bit of a surprise to see Tacoma up there. Or is it? Here's what Sacramento head coach Mark Briggs had to say.
We were obviously last year in our group, Tacoma, and we played the Galaxy. And I said last year, Tacoma are going to get better and better. They've got really good young players. They've added a sprinkle of experienced players as well around them. So it doesn't surprise me. And the Galaxy were very good last year. You know, and they've kept the big amount of those players they've kept and managed to keep. So I'm not really surprised. It just makes our group even harder, to be honest. I think the group that we're in is an extremely difficult group with a lot of quality teams.
Well, after a successful week all around, Rising had 3 players named to the USL Team of the Week. Most notably, Valley native Ryan Flood got his first nod. It's been an impressive entrance into the professional game for the newly repositioned left back, but how has he adjusted to his new position? Here's what Rick Schantz and the man himself had to say.
It's a strong slide in by Flood, who has not been intimidated by the professional game, has he?
He'd like to say welcome to the USL Championship, but he hasn't given you a reason so far to doubt him, has he?
No.
I'm not surprised because there's a process that happens. And when we selected Ryan, it was, hey, congratulations, he signed his contract. And I said, this is just the beginning. Now you have to put in all the work. And I'm not kidding. He's the only field player that does our goalkeeper film. And the goalkeepers do film, an hour and a half a day. And he stays late and watches film with them. And for him to just be that kind of a soccer junkie and enthusiast is fantastic, and you can see it translate to learning a new position.
It helps me learn the position a lot more and see where I'm making mistakes and where I can fix things, and also where I'm doing well at the position. Going very high as a left back, he wants me to be involved on the attacking side, but as well as taking my responsibilities as a defender and still being a left back that I have to be. And I think it's very good to see film. I'm a very visual person, so it helps me a lot to do film every day with the keepers and stuff like that, and just see how I'm moving and where I should be or all that stuff.
I like left backs that are comfortable I like fullbacks that are comfortable on the ball. I think maybe because I played left back, I was a forward and a 10 most of my career, and when I was 16, a national team coach said, you'd be a great left back, and it stuck. So maybe I've got the experience where I see, with a little more time and space, that you can see the game so differently. And this kid's vision with his power and ability to pass with that left foot is pretty special. So getting him some time on the ball and having some room in front of him, it's like a choo-choo train. You get him going and he can't stop. And but for me, I always saw him when I signed him and I told him he was going to be a left back. He wasn't very happy, but I think he might be thankful now.
It's been something I have to just get used to every week, and I think having Declan in front of me as well, and it has so many benefits to it, just because he's been at the top level for so long, and being able to learn from a player like that, and being able to take that role and come and step in and show that I am versatile and can play winger, striker, left back, all in a couple past years. So it's a great experience to be able to play left back at this level as well.
We were teasing Ryan because it's his first team of the week at the pro level, which is fantastic for him. But the players were all laughing, and they were asking Darnell when he made his first team of the week, what did he do? And I had to remind them that might have been a long time ago, and I'm not sure we had social media, but Darnell was mad at me. So no, I'm happy for Ryan. He's been playing very well. He's playing with a lot of confidence. It's a little bit of a shame that a fullback I think he makes it because of 2 or 3 really good moments he had offensively, rather than the consistency that he's showing as a defender. And I think that's where people are overlooking right now. This is a kid that's never played left back in his life, and positionally he's been fantastic. So athletically we knew he was good enough, but he's learning the game.
It's a great feeling to have such a explosion of
my name and in the league that, you know, the past few years I wasn't ready to play in, and finally step up and then perform in a league that now I finally feel like I am ready for. And there is a big experience to it, and I think I'm taking it well and pushing forward, and hopefully play at the next level, a very high level.
And Flood doing all the hard work there.
Of course, Team of the Week isn't the only recognition you can get. With the June international window just around the corner, Kevon Lambert will soon find himself on a plane heading out to Tokyo to represent his home country of Jamaica. A month later, the CONCACAF Gold Cup is right around the corner. So here are his words from this week on international duty with the Reggae Boys.
I mean, it's always an honor. It's a really great feeling to be called up again. It's always like a big deal for me to go represent my national team, wear those colors again. This year is going to be like an important year for the national team, so I feel really honored to be going again.
How much of a stress does it put on you, maybe, you know, flying all the way over to Tokyo and then having to come back?
I mean, I'm trying not to think about it. Like, I've been there already, and it was tough. The flights and everything, it was tough, so I already kind of know what to expect, so I'm trying not to think about it too much.
Are you expecting to maybe play a little bit more of a role than you did in the last Gold Cup?
Honestly, at this point, I'm not sure of the role that I'll be playing, but for me, whatever the coach wants me to do, however I can help the team, I will do that for sure.
Have they give you an inclination of whether you'll play in the midfield or maybe play as a center back? Do you know at all?
I'm not sure. They haven't said, but as I said, I'm open to play wherever the coach wants me to, however I can help the team. So that's the main focus.
You know, everyone when they think CONCACAF, they think the U.S., they think Mexico. Do you think Jamaica gets enough respect in CONCACAF?
I don't think so. We've earned it, especially for over the past few years. We've been really good in the Gold Cup. We've been to the finals, semifinals. We've been consistent. So I don't think we've gotten like enough credit, but that's fine. We just keep on working, doing what we got to do.
Do you think that helps you in the CONCACAF competitions, that you have a little bit of chip on your shoulder going against these other teams?
Oh yeah, for sure. We always want to play at the highest level, play teams that they say that are like bigger and better teams than us. We want to prove to them that we can always compete with them, and so it's always like we know what we got to do. We know what's ahead of us, so we just got to stay focused and get the job done, no matter who we got to play, you know.
Looking ahead to Sacramento Republic, this is a team coming off a 1-0 loss to Orange County last week. But was that result a disappointment? Here's what Mark Briggs had to say.
It was more of a disappointment, I felt. Orange County is a hard place to go. I think, you know, it's not an easy place to go and get a result. I was very pleased when you look at the stats, and I think we had like 60-something% possession, which is pleasing and shows that we're going in the right direction. But I just felt we didn't penetrate enough, and we didn't have them facing their own goal enough. We played in front of them much more than I would like.
Mark's side's certainly one of the tougher teams in the league, regardless of their result last week. But what exactly do they pose? Here's Rick Schantz on tonight's opponent.
You know, I thought that they lost 1-0 at Orange County, but I thought they played a little bit more of a pressing game against Orange County. I was kind of surprised at how they came out. But the goal they gave up was just a direct ball and an opportunity. But to go on the road at Orange County and to just lose 1-0, I think would be similar to what we had experienced at Tampa. So you watch them at home, extremely organized, very well coached, 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1, however you want to describe it. It seems to be what everybody's doing these days. But this group, you can see they really understand what Mark wants from them. So I think that's a big key in this league, is when you've got a bunch of players that believe in what you're trying to do as a coach, it's a lot easier than fighting the personalities and the mentalities of the players. And when you've got a team all moving in one direction, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you're going to be difficult to beat.
As Rick said, 3 at the back with 2 wing-backs out wide to boot. That's been the tactic of choice for Sacramento this season. Mitchell Tainter, Dan Casey and Andrew Wheeler-Omiunu in the middle, Duke Lacroix and Shannon Gomez out wide. But what does their coach see in that tactic? Here's Mark Briggs.
For whatever reason, there's been an increased prominence in the system. I think for me, this system I wanted to play last year, but I don't think I had the personnel to play the system. So we went out, and obviously we have different personnel this year, 10 new players. That was signed with the mind of playing this system. I just think it makes you, from a defensive standpoint, you're extremely solid. But for me, with the ball, you have a lot of options. You have triangles all over the field, which allow you to play in between lines and penetrate. I felt last year we didn't penetrate enough, and we've got to get better at getting in behind teams and then deliveries in the box.
Of course, that was a tactic that Rising trialled at times during the pre-season, but each game so far we've seen them line up in the familiar 4-3-3 that we've come to expect. But could a change in tactics be on the cards, with Rick Schantz saying that his side needs to be more intelligent this game? Here's what he said this week.
When we went to Tampa, the idea on how we wanted to play was a little naive, and it was my fault. I wanted to play them straight up. I wanted to try to do the way we play, and I exposed ourselves to a lot of difficult things. The wind, the surface, the travel, the intensity that the opponent's going to play with at home. But it was a great test, because had we done that and gotten a result, you look at your team and you say, wow, I wonder what we're like if we have to sit in a mid block or a low block. So going into Sacramento, you have to sometimes realize that you have to be humble, and coming away with a point on the road is not bad. If you get 3, that's fantastic. But I definitely learned a little bit about our group, and tell them that maybe we need to be a little bit more intelligent this match. Okay. The only thing I would say is that for us to be a little bit negative means that we're probably aggressive for most squads. So how we press and when we press is important. In our front 3, if these teams that play with 3 at the back, I'm fine taking that risk. And if they want to send 7 forward and defend with 3, and we'll defend with 7 and attack with 3, that would be a fun opportunity for us. So, it's how those 3 get the ball that is a big difference for us. And I think that's where we failed in Tampa. We weren't able to find their feet as much as we want. We just were hitting hopeful long balls. So to say it's negative, no, it's pragmatic, I think would be a better term. And understanding if you're winning a game and you're on the road, you don't have to score 7 goals. I think 1-0 would be plenty. But we know it's a difficult situation. And as I said, a point on the road is always good. If you win everything at home and you get a point on the road all season long, that's not a bad amount of points.
And to round us out, this is the first time these two sides have met since last year's first round playoff game, when Rising punched their ticket quite literally into the next round. But will Solomon Asante's handball have any bearing on this match? Here's the view from both camps.
Man, I can't imagine what their fans feel like, but we don't have VAR in the USL, and if we did, it was so fast. I saw it in live motion and I wasn't sure. I thought for sure it hit his shoulder, but you slow it down, you can see. But sometimes it's the bad luck, and I think we had so many options because they sat so deep in that game and so many opportunities that maybe it's the way the ball bounces sometimes. So I expect their fans to be pretty fired up. I don't know if they're at full capacity yet, but even 5,000 or 6,000 at that facility seems pretty intimidating because of that huge wall behind the goal. From the players, anytime Phoenix Rising goes somewhere, people want to beat us. We know that, and that's what we expect, and we just have to rise to the occasion, I guess. No pun intended.
I don't see it factoring into the game at all, to be honest. From a playing perspective, from my perspective, that's gone. That's gone. That was last year. Now, from a fan perspective, it may be a different story.
You're not going to bring it up in the locker room.
But it's nothing that I'm going to be talking about. The past, and the goal, whether it was a goal, well, it was a goal. So there's no point talking about it. Do you know what I mean? The ref didn't see it. The goal stood. For me, that's in the past and it's irrelevant, to be honest. However, I'm sure it'll make the fans, it'll have the fans a little bit fired up.
Well, that's all we've got time for today. Remember, tonight's game is a 7:30 p.m. kickoff at Heart Health Park. Make sure to keep an eye out for the latest news from me on Twitter up in Sacramento. Enjoy the match tonight. Goodbye.